Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the atmosphere that morning was a bit heavier than usual. Daniel faced a dramatic criticism from Sharon because Lucy's appearance could affect Faith. He was thinking about Sharon Newman, whom he had recently met. Sharon's unusual behavior made Daniel worried. He sensed the instability in her eyes, in her voice, and he couldn't help but feel that something was wrong. When Nick Newman walked into the restaurant, his eyes quickly recognized Daniel. An unpleasant look appeared on Nick's face as he walked towards Daniel's table. Not because he hated Daniel, but because he feared that any interference in Sharon's life at this time could make things worse. Daniel raised his head, noticing the tension in Nick's voice. He tried to stay calm, but he couldn't hide the worry in his eyes. "Yeah, Nick. I saw her, and I'm really worried about her. Something's wrong." Nick sighed, trying to control his emotions. "I understand, but you have to understand that her seeing you might make her sadder. Sharon's going through a lot, and the last thing she needs is an old friend bringing up bad memories." Daniel hesitated, unsure of what to say next. He understood that Nick was just trying to protect Sharon, but he also knew that he couldn't ignore what he'd seen. "Nick, I didn't mean to upset her. I just wanted to help. Maybe she needs someone outside of her family to talk to." The conversation grew tense, but eventually Nick realized that Daniel meant no harm. Nick lowered his voice, softening it. "I understand what you mean, Daniel. Maybe your game idea is something worth pursuing in the future, but right now is not the time. Sharon needs time and space to recover." Daniel nodded, accepting Nick's advice. But he couldn't help but worry about Sharon. He knew that there was something lurking deep inside her, and it was making him uneasy. Lucy's troubles and generational tension. Nick received information about another troubling incident involving Lucy Romolotti, Daniel's daughter. Lucy, while hanging out with Faith Newman, had been secretly drinking vodka to relax. This was quickly discovered, and Nick couldn't help but worry about the impact this would have on Lucy's relationship with Faith. Daniel, after leaving the meeting with Nick, had a tense conversation with Heather Stevens. Both were worried about Lucy's dramatic reaction to her detention. Heather stressed that Lucy's punishment was necessary, but she also understood that the situation needed to be handled sensitively so as not to make things worse. "We need to sit down and talk to Lucy," Daniel told Heather. "She needs to understand that sneaking alcohol was a serious mistake. This isn't just about grounding her, it's about helping her understand the consequences of her actions." Heather nodded in agreement. "I understand. But Daniel, this isn't like what happened to Cassie Newman. Lucy still has a chance to make amends and grow from her mistakes." Daniel sighed, but inside he felt a little relieved. He knew that Heather would face this challenge with him and help Lucy through it together. Sharon's hardships and the arrival of Cameron Kirsten. Meanwhile, at Sharon's house, Faith received word that her mother was postponing her spa trip to Sedona. Sharon makes excuses and gets irritated when Faith keeps asking why. This makes Faith feel worried, but she doesn't dare to ask further. Mariah Copeland walks in and immediately notices the tension in the air. She knows something is wrong and starts asking Sharon about the real reasons why she postponed the trip. Sharon finally can't control her emotions. She gets angry when she sees Mariah and Faith acting like she's having a breakdown. In her anger, she drops the laptop in her hand, causing chaos. The shadow of Cameron Kirsten, a scary figure from Sharon's past, suddenly appears as a hallucination. Throughout the episode, Cameron keeps appearing in Sharon's mind, reminding her of the scary things that happened. He insists that Sharon must stay in Genoa to find the answers she needs. At one point, Sharon stands still, staring into space, but she is actually listening to Cameron's advice. In her mind, Cameron warns her to ease Faith and Mariah's worries instead of making them worry more. The drama in the next episode of the show will bring interesting plot lines to the show.